All right, what's good, YouTube? I'm not gonna hold you guys too long, but I just wanted to go over a quick little topic. I actually came across this meme right here on Twitter, and I thought it was pretty interesting because it definitely is very relevant to a lot of the music that I've been hearing lately, and that's been coming out for really, honestly, the last couple of years. But it's a funny meme. It's just something stupid. It's the lyrics versus the beat. Same argument that people have made forever. And it's just it kind of goes back to things that I've always said before in my previous videos, that it's the producer and the beat will have a longer shelf life than the artist and the rapper and the music that they produce, or the lyrics that they're rapping, right? So for example, you could have a producer that he's relevant from the early 90s all the way up until modern day, because he consistently changes his beats. He's consistently making new beats and working on his beats. Whereas after a while, you could have an artist that is rapping, and let's say they start off in the early '90s and they're rapping about whatever they rap about now. It's the 2000s where we're at now, and they're still rapping about the same stuff. But on the producer side, 20 years has passed, and so 20 years of musical change has come about. Whereas, let's say you're one of those hardcore thug rappers, you rapping about the streets and whatnot, and that's how you come out. And then, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years later, you're still making music. I don't think that rapper is not going to hold as much validity and much weight if they're rapping about the same thing that they were rapping about 20 years ago. So as you get older, as you develop, as you become a get more into your artistry, you're going to have to make these changes. And I think the producer can make more changes faster and easier to maintain what his relevance, whereas he doesn't have to do so much if he doesn't technically want to. So basically, what I'm explaining is, let's use the plugs for example. The plugs beats sound the same since they've been out, right? If the plugs beats continue to kind of sound the same for the next several years, I really don't think that is as detrimental as if somebody like, I don't know, Lil Baby or Drake or somebody is rapping the same exact way on the same exact songs. So I'll give you an example of like a modern version of this. Artists like the Baby, right? Personally, I think every one of his songs sound the exact same. I don't think he does too much difference on everything. I think his flow is pretty much the same. I pretty much feel like when we hear one song, we've heard them all, right? Now, the producers that he typically uses, I think those producers will have a lot of similar beats, and they sound almost the same, but he's still able to rap on them, and the beats sound different, and the beats give it a different cadence and a different sound, whereas his bars and his lyrics are all the same, really. But when you have the combination of an artist that raps the exact same on every song, and he's still picking similar beats, and you put it all together, that's where you start getting that, all right, I've heard this before, or this song sounds like the last one, or this album sounds like the last one. You have to be able to switch it up and kind of change things and cater to it. Whereas on the producer side, you can make all the same beats, right? But let's say you're starting to send to different artists. These different artists are going to have different flows, different styles, different bars on the same similar sounding beats. Whereas if you take an artist like the Baby and have him rapping the same bars, the same style, the same flow and cadence, but he's using different beats, I feel like that is not going to hold its value as well and hold that shelf life. Because again, even just this meme alone lets us know that the beat is what makes the song, and the lyrics are just an added bonus. So I've mentioned before in previous videos, if you have a really good hard beat, it's really good. It's a banger. And then you have something like just a catchy song. It's something that is has a catchy hook, catchy verse, or something like that. You're bound to make a hit. So if you have the combination of a great beat and a catchy song, it doesn't have to be the best song. Because notice I didn't say the best or the hardest bars or the hardest beat or the hardest lyrics. I'm saying catchy, something that people can rap and say really quick and say and think of, or when they hear the beat drop in the club or in the car, they already know the lyrics to it. So you got to find that right combination as the artist and as the producer. As the producer, you want to always be constantly changing, but still keeping your same kind of sound, but be able to go different avenues, right? And you want the same thing as an artist, but you don't want to be a rapper and then the next album you put out is like some type of hyper pop R&B type something, because it just sounds way too off. Whereas I think a producer can have those hard trap beats, those hard different types of sounds, and then go to something completely different and it not affect his career like it would if you're an artist that makes a major switch or change like that. So that still solidifies me saying the producer is going to outlive the artist. So no matter what you got going on, what's happening, or the relationship you have with your artist, or whatever the case may be, you as the producer or the creative, because this doesn't just apply to music. This also applies to things like art, clothing brands, and things of that nature. I think those types of peoples and those types of creatives have a longer shelf life. So, for example, if you want to bring it all the way back to clothes and whatnot, let's just say Supreme, for example. Supreme has never changed its box logo. Supreme has never changed its font. Supreme has never really changed any of its clothes, but it's still maintained its relevancy from the early 90s, because Supreme actually started off as a skateboard company that was actually making magazines and whatnot, and eventually blew up and they turned into clothing, and they started to do more of clothing and t-shirts, but it was actually a magazine if I recall correctly. But either way, I think those types of things, those types of artists will hold their relevance better than somebody like a rapper or R&B singer, because they're going to constantly have to change with the sound. Because if you notice, as the beats start to change and the producers start to change, the rappers have to now, and the artists and the R&B singers have to now kind of alter how they rap and they sing towards the beat more so than the than in the reverse, right? So if you want to maintain your relevancy as an artist, you need to be able to stretch your legs out and be able to do more than just one kind of style, one kind of genre, one type of style of beat. And you need to work with other artists as well that may give you a different vibe and cadence, but don't go too far out there, because obviously it's just going to sound like, hey, this is very different than what I'm used to hearing from this artist. And then on the producer side, I say you try a lot of different things and go through different avenues. That way you can kind of see, all right, this is my main style of music or my main style of making beats, but I can make this, I can make that, I can make this, I can make this over here, I can create beats like that for these types of artists. Because again, I firmly believe that the producer, the creatives, the clothing brand people, all of that stuff is going to outlive an artist all day, every day. So if you are an artist and you know this and you've been watching my videos, you know that you're going to be outlived by producers and all these other creatives. You need to be doing other things outside of just rapping, making your music. So the artists need to be making clothing brands. You need to have your own style of art, or maybe a certain style of how you do your album covers. You need to be just doing different things other than just your music, because again, eventually at some point in time, your career is going to be here, and then the level of artistry that you're producing is probably going to be, it's going to feel like it's here, but you as an artist is going to be here. So your creativity is going to seem like it's less than, just because you still sound the same, you rap the same, you're on the same beats. So you need other avenues to kind of keep your popularity flowing and keep that river of views and popularity going. So the only way to do that is to branch out and do other things. Just like as a producer, you need to branch out and make other sounds. But again, the producer is always going to outlive the artist, and we see that today just based off of the music that's being put out. Because personally, a lot of this music that's being put out, it just all sounds the same. Rappers are rapping the same. They're saying the same stuff. They're sliding on the ops. They're doing this, that, and the third. They're getting goals in their mouth. They're getting chains, and they're messing with strippers and all types of other bad women. Like, we get it. We've heard it all 1,000 times, right? But when you have a different type of beat and a different artist that hops on that, now you've created a whole nother wave and a whole nother something. And now artists that were previously rapping on the old style has to now move to this style. And the only way that change happens is from the producer. When a producer makes a beat and it goes crazy and it's something totally different, and the artist decides to hop on it, it makes a different flow, a different style, a different cadence, and now it starts to push into that. So if you remember, it started off with a lot of lyrical rap back in the day. When I was a lot younger, everything was more of lyrical rap. So your J. Cole's, your Kendrick Lamar's, your Currencies, your Roddy Richards type artists. Like, even though he's a newer artist, but back in the day, like your Wiz Khalifa's, they were more of a lyrical style versus this new mumble, the what we would call mumble rap now. Even though I don't really think they're mumbling or anything like that, I just think the style is different. And so if you're a little bit older like I am, you've watched that happen. You've watched it go from, like, say, example, drill rap, like with Chief Keef, Lil Reese, those types of artists, Fredo, to it literally has changed from that to something like this mumble rap style or this swag style, this type of little baby, like, trying to be all dripped out, worrying about design, that type. Like, you can see how the styles have changed just between a couple of generations. So if you want to keep that longevity and have a long, healthy career, you need to always be able to adapt and change with the times. And I think producers are going to have an easier time with that than artists will, to be honest with you. So again, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. I just wanted to touch on this because I saw this meme and it made me, think of a couple of different things. Maybe wanted to kind of put some ideas out there so that if you're an artist and you're like, hey, I was popping and bubbling for a little bit, things have kind of died down for me, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do to kind of get that buzz going. You probably are you might be at the end of your shelf life, if to be honest with you. So artists, for example, like your Fawnies, your Unos, your Young Bands, the Playboy Cardis, all of those artists I would make beats for. To be honest, those people's shelf life have ended, right? If I made a beat right now and I knew one of these new age rappers rapped on it and it blows up, all right, well, now, I mean, my relevance has now increased, whereas the artists that I just mentioned, they have been still continuously making music, but their relevancy has not increased because they haven't changed as much, right? They haven't created a new style. Those artists would have to come out and create something totally different that just was catchy and blows up, right? Whereas as a producer, I can make a a couple hundred beats, a couple thousand beats in a year, flood the streets to artists, and then some no name no artist might find it on YouTube, make some type of different style, some type of catchy hook. It's already a good beat, and then boom, it blows up, and now there's a new wave, a different sound, and we have different artists. So if you go and look at the artists that I was working with, to somebody like I don't know, Ken Carson, a Geek, um, Destroy Lonely or something like that. Those artists are totally different from the artists that I was previously making music with, but the beats are very similar if you start to listen and you start to notice. So that means the relevance of the beats are still right there where it needs to be while the artists are changing, right? So that's just one thing to kind of pick up on. So as you start to listen to music and you're downloading these different albums from artists and you're supporting people's mixtapes, start to pay more attention to the beats and the lyrics, and you'll start to notice, hey, these lyrics are really kind of one and the same with a lot of these other artists and these other sounds and these other styles. The beats have pretty much kind of stayed the same, but the artists have literally stayed the exact same down for bar, almost the flows and everything. Because if you start to look at these artists, their flows sound like they piggyback off of this artist's flow, and but this artist sounds like he piggybacked off of this artist's flow, and that artist picked it. So as you can see, artists really piggyback and pick off of each other, while the beat and the producer state maintains the same, and they are the ones that are controlling the music and controlling the sound. So you as the producer, you control the sound. You as the creative are the brand, clothing brand, you control the style and the brand and the sound, whereas the artist is more so of the voice of it. They portray it. So as the brands change and the style of clothes change and the beats change and the producers change, the artists are the ones that have to adapt to that to create the style or the flow. But the artist is always going to get more credit just because they're the one that is the voice of this style or this flow. So I hope that all makes sense. If you need me to go further in depth, drop questions in the comment section. Follow me on all my social media. If I got it, you'll find me. If I don't, you won't. Just want to keep it short and simple, man. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. It's Sunday. It's been raining hard all day. I won't be doing too much today. Just gonna play a lot of catch up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share it. Uh, you know, show your friends. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. But either which way, just interact with the video and let the algorithm work in my favor. So I hope this kind of clears things up for people as far as what this meme actually means and what I think of it. And drop your opinions in the comment section. Let me know. Do you think artists hold more relevance, or do you think the producer holds more relevance, or do you think it's a tie, or what? Give me your personal feedback and your opinion, because I'm not like I'm telling you my opinion, but this does not mean I'm set in stone and that I'm right. So just comment in the comment section. That's all I got for you guys today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll get back up next week. Peace.